All right, let's bring in Keith Pompey of the Philly Inquirer and talk timeline here. Keith, I appreciate you joining the show. It seems as though this came together really quickly. When did Philly begin targeting Tobias Harris in particular?
The Sixers, they had Tobias in mind for a while. I mean, you realize like when they got Jimmy Butler and all that, it was one of those things where I think Tobias was one of the guys they were considering. They also liked him, possibly getting them in free agency. But I will say, like, last night is when things really started to heat up. They heated up, during the game, after the game, of course. But I think last night it became the sense of urgency. And, you guys saw the game. And the Sixers looked like a team lost. They had the 3 stars. Guys were bickering on the court. They just looked like a team that lost their mojo. And to give Elton Brand and his staff some credit, it just seemed like the time was now where they said, we have to pull this trigger and we have to keep everything together. And they did a good job.
Well, you mentioned Harris might have been a free agent target this summer. Remember, he turned down an $80 million extension offered by the Clippers last summer. He's obviously looking to cash in. How likely is it to happen in Philadelphia, or was this to some extent a caution to the wind, go for it right now move by the Sixers?
You know what, I think right now the fact that they acquired him in the trade, they acquire his bird rights, so they're better suited to pay him and Jimmy Butler. And, since they'll have Ben Simmons, he can get a lucrative extension as well. So I think for the Sixers, it was better off for them to get him in the trade. That way they can pay all of them. They'll just have to pay the luxury tax. I think that it probably would have been hard to keep to keep Jimmy Butler and get him in free agency. But now that they acquired him in trade, I think that they'll be fine.
Keith, with the hiccups that, Jimmy Butler had when he came over, the rotational hiccups that it caused for Joel Embiid, are you worried at all about Tobias Harris fitting in, or is he a guy that because of the way he plays and the number of times, honestly, he's been moved around during his career, that he'll have an easier time making that transition?
I think you always have to be concerned a little bit about when you bring someone else in, especially a guy who's used to getting the ball, getting a lot of touches. However, I feel like, when we talk about what Joel Embiid was frustrated about, he was frustrated because he felt as if that all of a sudden he became a stretch 5. He had to be out in the perimeter and shoot threes instead of being on the block. Well, you got a guy like Tobias Harris who can be a stretch 4 for you, right? So what that does is that opens up a lot of space for Embiid, and it opens up things for Jimmy Butler, J.J. Redick, all of them. So I feel as if that, with the Sixers, if you get Tobias going early on, let him get a couple shots out in there, it's going to open up things for everyone. And as the Wizards like to say, we all get to eat. So I think they'll be happy with this group.
Keith, one more before we let you go. Are the Sixers likely to be active tomorrow, or are they basically done for now and waiting on buyouts in that season to begin?
I think it just depends on what they get. Like, I feel like if someone, let's just say Markelle Fultz, for instance, I think if someone can give them, something that they feel is good for them, or someone is willing to take on that salary, I think we could see Markelle get moved. And I think that they still have, a lot of options. I mean, the one thing I will say about the Sixers, and typically sometimes when you hear a team that has so many options, you're like, dude, y'all don't know what y'all doing. But in their case, it's like, okay, if we can't get this, who's going to be plan B? Who's going to be plan C? And what they're doing is they're waiting around to see who gets bought out. And, and if that person gets bought out, tomorrow, what have you, they're going to try to sign that guy to a free agent deal. But at the same time, I feel like if they can, get rid of some salary, or if they can get somebody who right now they feel like can booster that second unit a little bit, I believe that the Sixers will go after that person.